share with you a very profound realization that came to as a result of facing some fears, facing some uncomfortable patterns resurfacing over and over again in my dreams. Because what I've noticed is the beauty of the unconscious mind is that it will show you where you're not free yet. It will show you what needs to be faced. It will show you what cave you need to enter to find the treasures you seek in your dreams. If you don't do it in your conscious life, it will make sure you fucking end up doing it in the dreams. And so, what happened is that I had the same dreams over again, over and over again, resurfacing. And this morning I said, let's fucking face it. Wait a minute, let's face it. I'm tired of the same shit over and over again. So I started journaling. I started exploring. I started facing it. And what I came to the conclusion of is that, especially as men, when we experience fear and we see that it's somehow limiting the quality of our life, which no shit. Fear is literally the main thing that limits the quality of our lives. As men, what we try to do is either deny it, repress it, pretend it's not there, or, and this is where I was stuck for so long, do what I call spiritual bypassing, which is zooming out so fast, so strong, getting in our head so much, going back to the awareness so fast that now we're like, oh, I'm observing the fear and the emotion. I am not the fear and the emotion, which can be true from one perspective, but the problem with it is that as soon as this phase is over, the fear is still in your body. Like the fear is still there. The pattern is still there. And so what happens is we end up going to this, oh, I am above the fear. Like I'm unshakable. I am a man. And then what happens is the pattern keeps on resurfacing. And this is the difference between women and men. The reason why women have more ease with breakups is because they fully feel their shit. They can fully feel to heal. The reason why men seem to struggle with it so much is because they keep on pretending the emotion is not there, but guess what? The emotion is still there. And it's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. So I was exploring that this morning. And what I ended up realizing is that, first of all, we're all gonna die. So let's start with that. We are not here forever. We're gonna go back to source or wherever we were created from, or heaven, or hell, whatever you want to believe in. We're gonna go somewhere that is not here, at least in the form that we are here. Therefore, that sense of peace, that sense of freedom, that sense of being released from the difficult life of being human with all of its emotions and all of its complexity and all of its mystery, we're gonna escape that one day anyways. No matter what. Even if you don't want to. Therefore, the conclusion I have arrived to is that while we're alive, might as well fully be alive. And what does that mean? While we are human, might as well experience everything that comes with being human. While we're being human, might as well experience all of it. Because all of it will disappear one day anyways. We're gonna die. So that feeling that you have of fear, of shame, of guilt, of regret, that thing that makes you suffer, don't worry. One day it will be gone because one day you're gonna die. So might as well, while you're here, the whole point is to have the full experience while it lasts. The whole point is to feel it all while it lasts. And guess what happens, paradoxically, when you do that? What happens is, instead of trying to repress, resist, because whatever you resist persists, that's a quote from Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists of all time. And one of the philosophers who achieved the deepest understanding of human nature, in my opinion. Whatever you resist persists. And so what happens is, when you fully open and you remember that the whole point is to experience it all, and you fully feel it all, even when it sucks, you realize that this is the whole point. The whole point is to experience. The whole point is that life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be experienced, a dance to be held, a game to be played. What you realize is, well, a whole part of the game is the darkness. It's the shadow. This is the whole part. This is the whole part of the game. And who am I to say what is right and wrong, what is good and bad? Who am I to judge that as, oh, I shouldn't experience that? This is beyond the conversation of behavior. Even in behavior, there's an argument to be made, but we're not going to go there. I'm talking about inner experience. Inner experience. Who are you to say that inner experience is right or wrong, good or bad? Oh, I shouldn't have this. It's like, hey, were you the one who created this whole miracle of existence that our planet is? The whole miracle of nature? Humans? Were you the one who created that? No. Therefore, who are you to say that, oh, humans shouldn't experience that internally? Matter of fact, anything that can happen in the external world, even, is just a reflection of the inner world. Anything in the external world is a reflection of the inner world. Why? Because the only way you experience something is through its reflection in your psyche. You don't experience life, you experience the life you perceive in your psyche through your senses. You're seeing me right now, you're hearing me right now. But what you're hearing and seeing is not me. It's how your brain interpreted and conceived me. The light it reflected from your screen, that your brain was able to interpret as a symbol, an image that you recognize as, oh, that's a human being. Same thing with sound, same thing with all of it. So it ends up being a whole inner experience. The whole of life is just an inner experience, really. That's what it really is. Therefore, if the whole experience is an inner experience, then I don't know about you, but considering that I know I'll die one day and come back to source, I would rather experience it all. I would rather feel it all, feel the whole juice of it. Because that moment right now that you're experiencing where you have this uncomfortable emotion is never going to come back. And that is an experience of its own. What happens is, as soon as you embrace that, you start releasing. You start feeling your shit. You start feeling it all. And opening and having space for it all. And paradoxically, what that ends up doing is it makes you unshakable. It makes you unshakable because when you're like, let me welcome let me welcome the discomfort, then nothing in the external world could ever shake you now. Because now you're open to it all. And that's what happens when you speak on stage, which is what Born to Speak is about, my community. You can find it in the description, in my bio. It's a public speaking community. And what happens is I teach people when you hop on stage or in front of the camera or on a sales call, it's like, now you're afraid of what people will think. Or I'm recording a live on the street. It's like, oh, there's blocks around me. There's people. What would they think? It's like, do you think you'll care about that when you've faced the fact that you're gonna die? The fact that when you faced all your darkness, the fear of loss, knowing that everybody you love will die or disappear from your life one day. It's like when you face that and fully experience that, when you face your own deepest darkness, it's like nothing in the world can shake you. And even if it can, then it's going to be much less. And that's when you become much more powerful as a human being. What is a tough lesson you learned about life? The toughest lesson you learned about life? That pain is inevitable. Could there be a more difficult lesson than that? Pain is inevitable. Pain is inevitable. And so what happens is we must all choose our pain. And whatever we want will come as a result of sacrifice. It's like you cannot have it all, but you can have anything you want, just not everything you want. So what happens is, let's say, by definition, you want to have the perfect body, the perfect relationship, you want to have the perfect business, you want to have the perfect spiritual life. You only have 24 hours in a day. By definition, if you want to do all of that, let's say you want to have the perfect business at the same time as the perfect relationship, at the same time as the perfect body, you know what's going to happen? Well, sleep is going to take a hit. And when sleep takes a hit, guess what? Health takes a hit. So something needs to be sacrificed regardless. That's the toughest lesson. Choose your pain. Choose your pain. And what that does is when you embrace that the pain is inevitable and you start to being like, wait a minute. Not easy, by the way, but doable. Wait a minute. Let me realize that the whole point is to experience it all. The whole point is for me to become whole, to experience wholeness. The whole point is resourcefulness. So why would I reject one side of life? And you start embracing the pain, you paradoxically end up experiencing the least amount of pain long term, or at least you experience the most meaningful life possible, which then equals less suffering over time. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. This is the toughest lesson. Now, I saw your message, Lohita Yara. I saw your message. What's your take on social media? Social media is a tool just like the mind, just like anything. It's a reflection of the human mind. And so what happens is it's a beautiful tool, but a tool can be used both ways. It can be used to create and it can be used to destroy, which, by the way, doesn't mean right or wrong. It's just, hey, it can be used for anything. So you choose how to use it. I wouldn't completely reject it, obviously, but I wouldn't let it use me. This is why I have used it to spread this message, to spread whatever you can call it, getting closer to God or surrendering or power, becoming powerful or evolving, integrating. I appreciate you guys' questions. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, the point I wanted to share was made. The reason I share these is my girlfriend inspired me because we have these conversations all the time. So she inspired me. She goes, whenever you have a breakthrough, just put a live on and see what happens. That's what I did today. So this was my share of the day. I'm gonna wait a couple more seconds, maybe until 15 minutes. If you guys have any other questions, other than that, we'll call it a day. Appreciate your presence as always. If you resonate with what I'm talking about on these lives and videos, then you'll resonate with the workshops. And the workshops, the difference is instead of you watching me behind a camera and asking questions like this, you get to be put on stage, you get to be challenged, we get to interact. That's how people are facing so many fears, and that's why people are getting results so fast. So you're invited. The link is in my description. It's called Born to Speak. Think you're playing with your hair. Yeah, you don't think I am. By the way, you're great. I think when you're saying about like you're answering our questions, do you have any situations like that? Do you have any situations like that? Where I need to like face my fear and shit. Yes. Yes. I have a lot of them. If that's what you're asking. I mean, This is the reason Born to Speak exists. It's due to the fact that I grew up with social anxiety. I grew up being bullied. I grew up with isolation, addiction, depression. And so facing all of that bullshit one by one, which god damn, not easy. Proud that I went through that. Facing all of that shit one by one ended up creating the man that I am today, which then allows me to serve. That's what I'm saying. Turning pain into purpose is the whole idea. It's what creates meaning, which is one of the reasons why you want to face your pain and embrace it and fully feel it so that you can then transmute it into purpose, which is where you create meaning. You can have a life that is easy, but do you choose easy? Is that really what you want to choose? Is that what you're here for? Do you want to choose easy or do you want to choose powerful? Do you want to choose purpose? Easy or power? Knowing that we're going to die anyways, which then when we die, shit is by definition easy. Once you're dead, I would rather choose power. I would rather choose pain turning into purpose. And for that, men, my boys, what happens is you're so afraid of feeling your emotions fully that you're cutting off your power. This is what's very interesting. And I'm speaking from experience. It's not like, oh, I'm some kind of saint or whatever. I can experience all my shit. And man, this is a very interesting chat. I love you guys. If you guys want us to interact, if you want to be put on stage, if you want to ask personalized questions, all of that, and that's why I created the Born to Speak community. It's free. You can find it in the bio in my description. We have these workshops 3 times per week, where instead of just asking questions like this in a chat, you can interact with me personally, be put on stage. Goated bro, we'll lock in with public speaking soon. Expecting to be a regular viewer soon. Who will engage? Why soon? Why not now? This is the question. What are you waiting for, my brother? Hey, Danny, I'm about to enter the seminary next month. Would love to work on my charisma and to infuse them into my sermons. Ooh, beautiful. How can I use improv for the same? Can I use daily practice? So ultimately, belief, experience, confidence, trust is built on proof. Therefore, the more you expose yourself to an environment in which you must deliver, the more proof you're going to build that you're capable of it, and you're going to speak with much more flow because you're going to trust God much more. Therefore, what I suggest is put yourself into any situation possible in the meantime where you're put in front of a public or in front of people and you got to answer questions or you got to come up with something interesting to say, a story to share. For example, these live streams. For example, the workshops in Born to Speak. I don't know if you're in the community already. If you're not, then it's in the description. That's where we have workshops 3 times per week. It's interactive. It's not just me speaking. It's people being put on stage, and that's the whole point, for you to build that proof. I believe in exposure therapy. Because when you raise the bar, let's say you're challenged and you do something difficult, you raise your bar, you raise your baseline. So then when you come back to whatever regular activity that you do, and it's easier. And it's easy as fuck because you built the proof that you can do it under much higher circumstances. That's why right now I can speak straight for 20 minutes, answer all your questions, flow, because I've been doing it so much and on stages in front of hundreds of people. So now it's easy. Let's see the thoughts on Eastern philosophy. Thoughts on Eastern philosophy. Honestly, I believe that Eastern philosophy is the truth. Honestly, like I believe it's the closest thing to the truth. For example, Taoism. Taoism is just so true, and yet it's not as useful as some of the big religions. For example, I can realize that I am spirit as a reflection of God. I can realize that God is everything, everywhere, all the time, for eternity. And that all of that is just a reflection of God, and we are just reflections of God that happen to be conscious. And we're like branches of the same tree. I can realize that. I can know that. I can realize that ultimately I don't have any control, and it's all just an orchestra created by God. And yet, now what do I do with it? It's like, now what? Which is where I love the Abrahamic religions a little bit more, where you have a tool that you can use as useful, like a useful tool. And so what's happening is you integrate the divine with earth. So what happens is you end up revealing heaven on earth, which is the purpose. Revealing heaven on earth. That's why a religion like Islam, for example, which the name means to surrender. The whole idea is to surrender to God. Islam respects all prophets. They don't see Jesus as literal God. They see him as a very powerful prophet, which is how I see him as well. They encourage people to study all the different philosophies and religions, to explore all the different tools that have been given to us. And it's a very integrated practice, which is why I chose to practice Islam. The 5 prayers per day is beautiful. The first ever mentor I had before I was interested in any religion or philosophy like this was encouraging us to meditate 5 times per day. I didn't know yet about Islam and about the 5 prayers per day. The morning ritual, morning priming by Tony Robbins, talks about the light coming down from the sky and into the earth. This is what a very common practice in Islam is as well. Shadow of light. So this, I see it as the most integrated practice of them all. All right. Love you guys. Much love to all of you. That was a beautiful session. If you want to be put on stage to practice, to interact, to be challenged, to face your fears, to practice public speaking, improv, charisma, sales, that's what Born to Speak is about. Completely free. You can find it. The link is in the description. Much love. Mwah.